happy readers, I'm Liz and today we're reading Shine by Myracle. I actually finished reading this book about 2 weeks ago, but I was really just seriously so worried about doing the book justice and explaining it correctly to you guys that I just took my time and was like, hey, let's think about this before we go into reviewing it. It is such a good book. I saw somebody not compare it to To Kill a Mockingbird, but kind of just saying that it's along that same vein of young adult fiction. It is such a powerful book. I would say that it combines every sort of issue that is placed in young adult fiction and just brings it into one book. And to do this, I feel like Myracle did the right thing by bringing it into the mountains of North Carolina, bringing it into the South. Because honestly, in the South, we do have a lot of prejudice, we do have a lot of hate towards certain groups of people. We have alcoholism, we've got drug abuse, we've got poverty, and this book covers it. It also covers rape and violence and things like that, and so if you're under the age of 14 or 15, I would say that this book is not for you. Also, people who don't care to read violent books or books with a lot of emotion and have dark themes, I would say, this is probably not your book, to be honest. But honestly, I tried to read this book after Mockingjay got about almost halfway through, and I was like, let me read something a little bit lighter, and that's why I reviewed Last Little Blue Envelope before I reviewed this, because I had to read something at least a little bit more lighthearted and a little bit more sunshiny, I guess. So this book is about a girl named Kat. She's about 17 years old and she is from this mountain town in North Carolina. He actually gets put in the hospital in a coma because he is so beat up. And Kat does her own investigations because she knows that her community isn't going to do anything about it. She actually goes to church and sees these ladies and they're like, hey, he asked for it because he's gay, and she knows that that's not right. She knows that these things aren't why this happened to her friend. Also, all throughout the novel, she's dealing with her own demons and her own bad things, so it's not just in her community it's awful, it's actually also inside of her that she's dealing with a lot of just bad things that happen in her life. I think the story says that her mom died when she was younger. I don't remember. It was in the beginning of the story. So anyways, her dad is an alcoholic. He has his own little trailer in the back, and her aunt is this kind southern woman who, if there's a problem, she sweeps it under the rug, especially with Kat's own problems. She's just kind of oh, nothing happened. Let's just move on from it, that kind of thing. And because of that, Kat has kept a lot of stuff inside of her. And so she goes on this investigation and investigates everybody, people that she was once friends with to just meth heads. She went to this meth dealer's house. It's crazy. But anyways, yeah, seriously, she goes through this crazy stuff just to see who did this because she's told that it's an out-of-towner and they just assume that it's an out-of-towner, and the ending will surprise you as to who did this to Patrick. And then there's this beautiful scene with Patrick, Kat, and her friend, and I forget his name because I read this book in a couple of days because it was so good. Guys, it's mystery and it's crazy drama. Not really crazy. It's not Gossip Girl drama. It's real stuff that is happening in the southeastern United States, as well as probably other places all around the world, as far as prejudice and drug use and alcoholism and rape and violence and all this other crazy stuff that happens in this book. And throughout the book, Kat finds that people aren't exactly how they seem. They aren't exactly how she judges them. She might think that this person is horrible or they just are nothing but their problems, but she finds out that they're actually good people. Not all of us are villains. I feel like this book could have been almost awful, but it was so well delivered and just so well put. And Kat's a very strong character. Even though she has her weaknesses, I feel like she was a good, strong main character, good, strong narrator, because this is from first person, and sometimes when you read first person, you're just oh, this person, just why are they running around in circles? But she actually gets stuff done. As you can tell, I really liked the main character. And I also really liked her friend, even though at first he came off as a jerk. I don't remember his name. It's not Patrick, it's the other guy who comes in, and that's why you don't speed read, even if it's a good book. You don't do that. But yeah, I forget. But there's also this funny little kid. He kind of brings in the comic relief. Something I also enjoyed about this book was that it wasn't all about the main character. She went around and asked people their stories and things like that. Like there was this one guy who had the roadside stand with his rotten fruit. He didn't really know that, I don't know if he was conscious of the fact that he had rotten fruit because he was hooked on drugs, because he had lost his family, he had lost like pretty much everything that mattered to him. And I think a lot of people will be able to relate to that, especially with all the tornadoes that swept through the southeast last week. Like all those people who lost their homes, and I think they'll be able to relate to that guy, and not necessarily that they're all going into drugs, but the fact that his wife died, and that was a big terrible thing that happened to him, and then a tornado swept through their town and he was trying to save his daughter and she also died, and it was just it's just so heart-wrenching, and this whole book is heart-wrenching. Like it will get you, and no matter where you're from, I think no matter if you live in the South or not, like seriously, it is such a good book, and it's just so deep and so, like, even though it's dark, I think it's just such a good book. It's just like the steak for your soul. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I really hope that you guys check it out. It came out on May 1st, and so yeah, so it wasn't that long ago that it was out, and I really hope that she comes to Atlanta. That would be awesome to meet her, because I've talked to her on Twitter before, and she's really cool, and I haven't read any of her other books, so it was a really interesting experience to read this for the first time, and I think it's her first YA novel, I'm not sure. It's the first, like, that's really, like, YA, like young adult. I would say, like, to compare it, I would be like To Kill a Mockingbird, Bermuda's Triangle. I'm trying to think of other really good, like the ones that just really shake your world, just really help you kind of understand your opinions on things and understand how you stand on things, and also just like how you judge other people and how you care about other people, I guess to say. That is all. I hope you have a great day and keep reading. I almost forgot to say this, but my friend Laura from Tuscaloosa, Alabama wrote this post in your pants on the Nerd Fighter forum, and I will put that down there. It has a lot of information about how you can help people who, you know, their homes and everything that they had were destroyed in these tornadoes that happened this past week, and so definitely check that out. Put a link down there, and I hope you all have a fantastic day and keep reading.